And suddenly we were off. I kept getting into all sorts of things where my attention wanders. And so I was doing the Rest Hotel thing, but at the same time, I started to develop a rock opera, which we started touring with Chisel and with Marsha Hines, the Radiators, which was all to do with the fact that I'd been a teacher right up until this time. And it was basically built around the concept of hidden curriculum. That is the things that our kids learn in schools while we think we're teaching them something else. And so it was, so we found it, my brothers and I were suddenly back in the band together, and my older brother, who was the headmaster in the show, Ron, took quite a huge part in making that show work. He used to run all the lights from the back and the sound and be the headmaster and stride around the crowd with a cane, things you get sued for these days. But it was the 70s, you know. This is a track from that show, and a kind of an example of what we were doing that day, where the crowd was the band. So you have to learn some parts, right? There's an argument in the middle of this. There's a song called Who Owns the Ball? And it's from the School Day show. In the middle there's an argument. I could say, come on, we had him yesterday when Gazza had first call. And you guys get to scream out, well, we're not bloody having him, he always drops the ball, right? And I could say, all right, and he's on our side, and you can go to hell, but you've got to give us Roscoe and 18 blokes as well. And you get to scream out, no way. I forget to say, no way? Well, forget it then, and Drummond doesn't play. Who says? And you get to say, well, you say, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But it's not. In fact, your parts are simply this. We're not bloody having him, he always drops the ball. No way, we say. That's pretty easy, right? Okay, short rehearsal, here we go. You have to imagine the crashing band behind there, me dressed in school days clothes, in short pants and a little cap. And, you know, I've always loved the dress-up box. Come on, you remember what your first line was, doesn't it? We're not bloody having him, he always drops the ball. That's your favourite. Come on, we had him yesterday when Gazza had first call. Well, all right, then he's on our side. You can go to hell, but you've got to give us Roscoe and 18 blokes as well. No way. What do you mean, no way? Well, forget it then, shit, it doesn't play. Who says? We say. Yeah, it sounds like you mean it. Right, okay. Well, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun beat bright and hard on the bitter cold enclosure of the crisscross concrete yard. Down at the school route in winter uniforms, breathing bursts of steam. We waited by the wooden bench while Wasp chose a team. And he'd say, Gary, Mike, you're on Chicka's side. He'd say, Terry and Dean, you come with me. Roscoe, Tony, oi, you can pick one only, and I guess that only leaves. Then they turn and look at me, and it always seemed that then that an argument began. The argument would always go like this, you ready? Come on, we had him yesterday when Gazza had first call. Well, how could you have screwed that up after rehearsed it? We're not going to have him. Come on, we had him yesterday when Gazza had first call. Well, all right, then he's on our side. You can go to hell, but you've got to give us Roscoe and 18 blokes as well. No way. What do you mean, no way? Well, forget it then. Shithead doesn't play. Who says? We say. Well, I guess I didn't want to anyway. You know how that made a kid feel? A little unloved, a little unwanted. Very much like Ron Casey at a Normie Rowe tribute night. Very much like Wilson Tucky anywhere. But wait a minute. 8 o'clock in the morning was a miss the ball, and a ricochet off a ricochet outside the science hall. Well, the fear was on their faces, the consequence was plain, as it all disappeared forever down inside the tuck shop drain. Now, is there something else? It was just 8:10 to the minute. As they stood there in a bunch, I took my precious parcel out from underneath my lunch, and I kicked it nonchalantly up against the washhouse wall, and I waited there till Chica said, "Hey Pat, let's play some ball." Now, once you go back to your first ever argument in the playground, back in the day, the worst thing you could say to any of the other kids was look them right in the eye and say, "Oh, duh." Worst part about growing up is you never get to say "oh, duh" to anyone ever again. I mean, just once when you're pulled up by a policeman for speeding. He came and said, "Excuse me, sir, do you realise you were doing 80 in a 60 zone?" Just once when you like look and go, "Oh, duh." Almost worth 3 busted ribs, 9 points on your licence and a new pair of glasses, really. All right, well, you get to do the second worst thing. You get to repeat whatever I say right after me. So I said, "Oh! Oh, duh! You lost your ball, have you?" No. This is called a visual cue in education. Right? You lost your ball, have you? Yes. You want to use my ball now, do you? Yes. Okay, yous can play, but one thing, I get to choose the teams. So I said, "Gary, Mike, you're on Chica's side." I said, "Terry and Dean, you come with me." And I said, "Roscoe and Tony, you can pick one only." And the thing that I recall, if I learnt from sport at all, is if you can't play the game of life, you better bloody own the ball. And I said, "Gary, Mike, you're on Chica's side." And I said, "Terry and Dean, you come with me." And I said, "Roscoe and Tony, wait, you can pick one only." And the reason I'm a star, though I'm shithouse on guitar, yes, the reason that I'm here should be now totally clear. It's that I've got the best balls in town, even after all these years. Yes, I've got the best balls in town, the 6 grandkids to prove it, even after all these years. And they said, "One's ball, one's ball, one's ball, one's ball, one's ball, one's ball." And I said, "Me."